Hello again, and welcome back to Sheltered Sages, the podcast where two formerly sheltered homeschoolers talk about the complexities of life, one Reddit story at a time. My name is Philip.
And I'm Andrew.
And we are back once again on a wonderful Geek Dive episode in the semester 3. This is the first Geek Dive at semester 3.
Yeah, first semester 3 Geek Dive. These are, I think, like I say this every time, so I don't feel bad saying it. These are some of my favorite shows and episodes of the show, just because it's that opportunity for us to just dive into something that we're super passionate about, and something that maybe we're going to open some eyes to someone who's never been in it before, or things that we were talking in our last episode with my wife, which if you haven't seen that one, big face reveal, my wife was on it, so you should go and watch our
She's a wonderful person.
But we were talking about introducing her to D&D and how that was very, very big. She didn't talk a lot about the conversations we had leading up to it, but it's very much just and I think as homeschoolers we got very good at sharing our passions with other people, so just getting to do that and share the things that are interesting to us. But speaking of what we're sharing, what is it that our Geek Dive is on today, Philip?
So we were talking about we've talked about a lot of things that we do outside of the podcast. But we haven't really talked about the podcast itself, which is something that we do quite often. So today, you get to finally hear about why we started the podcast, what the process behind that was, what we're using for technology. I'm going to explain how this crazy wire spaghetti kind of works, and then also what we are looking forward to in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm excited. This is so you have an understanding of, this is kind of like a behind the scenes episode, really. It's we're doing a Geek Dive, we're going to talk about stuff and why we do what we do, but also at the same time it's going to be you getting to kind of peek behind the microphone and see, and let's hear why we're passionate about what we're doing and why we're continuing to do this for now a third semester, which is very awesome. I think this will be close to our 40th episode when this comes out.
Goodness,
which is crazy to think about. Yeah. We are almost halfway to 100 episodes.
That's crazy.
I know, it's wild.
So many episodes we've done.
I know. It's so cool,
but we should start the intro
now.
All right, so Andrew, we have a podcast called Sheltered Sages.
I
don't think you realize that, but I just want to let you know.
What the name of our podcast is?
That's what the name of our podcast is. That's what the people are listening to right now.
I've been saying it in the intro, so that makes sense.
So, Andrew, I think they want to know what happened to allow these two homeschoolers who know each other from various different things to actually just sit down at the table and start talking about Reddit stories. How did that start?
Yeah, so I think that, the first thing that it started was that obviously you and I had been friends for a little while. We met when our wives were no longer roommates, but they had previously been roommates prior to us, and I think
roommates.
They were roommates. Oh my gosh, they were roommates.
Yeah.
So they had met, and so you and I got to meet because y'all were coming down to Disney to visit, and we had met up, and that's when you and I instantly boom, nerd clicked. We realized we were homeschoolers, we were into film and into nerd culture and into all of that stuff, and then we just hit it on. I felt kind of bad for the wives because they were the long lost friends coming to meet up, and it was really you and me that I think hung out and spoke more that night than they did, which is hilarious.
It was funny.
So that's what started all of this, that set the foundation for it. It was you and I got to figure out very, very quickly that there's a lot of things that we jived on, a lot of things that we could talk about, and how we could just have fun and have conversations that go on for hours and hours and hours. And so it was in that where the beginning of Sheltered Sages formed, I think. And then the actual execution happened. We made a lot of jokes about it at the beginning of the podcast. Chili's.
Yes. But I will go before that because I just remembered something. Before, Andrew is very good at storytelling. So a lot of the things he's working on, especially with D&D, I was listening to a lot of D&D podcasts at the time. I had never played before. And so when I started playing, I was like, this would be so fun for us to have a D&D podcast. this. And then Andrew, I think rightfully so, was a little hesitant because he's like, I'm just now getting started out. I have this whole homebrew thing. I would like to learn how to be like the best dungeon master I can be before I really jump into being a dungeon master online for everyone to ridicule me for all of the problems.
And there is that, and there's that stage of what happens of like, there's Dungeons and Dragons that you play at home with your friends, and then there is a actual play podcast where you're performing Dungeons and Dragons or a TTRPG in front of the world.
Yes.
And so like we had talked about since we'd started playing about how much fun it would be to have a D&D podcast, and then I just very intentionally shut it down constantly because I'm like, I've read the horror stories, I've seen all of the chaos, and I was like, as much fun as it would be, it's just not feasible. It's just not something that we can logically do right now.
So we had in the back of our heads a potential show of some kind, something where we could talk about crazy things, or something where we could enjoy a game together where people can see us. And then Chili's.
Yes, and then we went and met at Chili's. And so I'll be completely honest, like I'm going to give some inspirations for some of the shows that launched this, but like I had recently really gotten into this show on you've probably heard of it on Spotify if you're listening to us, but Two Hot Takes, and it's hosted by Morgan. I don't remember her last name, but she's awesome. So there's Two Hot Takes, and then a lot of other YouTubers and other people have done now like Reddit reading like podcasts. And I was like, that could be a very fun entryway for us to do a podcast that wouldn't require a lot of work. We just need some microphones, a camera, and a space to record. But also we have the perspective of a unique perspective, in my opinion, that not a lot of people have, which is we were previously homeschoolers. And like we had this sheltered childhood that sometimes causes us to look at the world a little bit differently than the way that every other person might. And so I think that was really what like propelled me to be like, hey, what if we did this? And I think it was at the Chili's, and we were having like a late night talk. We were talking about like work and life and all that other kind of stuff. And then like, I don't remember what happened, but I just saw, was it I that softball pitched it? Or
you did.
I softball pitched. I was like, well, what if instead of doing a D&D podcast, we did like a Reddit stories podcast, but instead of this, we did with sheltered homeschoolers instead. And it kind of like caught fire. And we were just like, that's awesome. That would be fun.
So on my side, when he's telling me, okay, we're looking to do a podcast where we get to talk about Reddit stories, I'll be very, very honest. I don't really as much care about Reddit stories. I like the challenge of capturing the episode. I am more of a very technical individual. And if anyone knows me beyond this podcast, you know that is very, very true about me. So in my head, as he was like, hey, what if we did a podcast? All we need is 2 mics and a camera. And I was like, but how big of a camera can we use for this? How much the audio systems can we go? What kind of lighting are we looking into? I know the first episodes, when you see it across, you might be like, it's not as great. It's not necessarily because I didn't know what I was doing as much as I was trying to do it as cheaply as possible.
Yes. It was very much in that early stage that like, we didn't want to sacrifice quality, but we're like, we're not going to be one of those groups that like, we have an idea, so let's bankroll like $7,000 in equipment to get all the high-end gear.
Yes.
Like, no, like if we're going to do this, and this is where I've seen a lot of, and we'll probably talk about like our ideas behind how we do what we do, but a lot of success that I have seen from people who do it is like, if you have an idea, start it out with with what you have. And if it's there, if it's something that people connect with, you're going to be able to continue. And that's kind of where I think, you know, we're not nearly at a stage where we're huge or anything yet, but also at the same time, I don't like, we're averaging decent enough views that like for a small startup that we've only been doing this for a year and only at around 40 episodes, where we're having fun and we're continuing to learn something every time that we do another episode, every time that we do a new thing.
And it's a fun way too to look into things that I hadn't experienced before, like even looking into Reddit stories or talking to people that are coming on the podcast, really finding out their stories, what they've experienced, what they like, what's going on in the world, and then getting a different perspective that I wouldn't have before. I mean, I say I enjoy talking about these kinds of things, but it's more just talking through my own thoughts and finding out, oh, I didn't really know I believed that. But having someone ask me, hey, would they be the Picklefoot if they did this thing? I'm like,
That's a weird specific spot.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. And it's like, oh, so that's a belief system that I do have about that one very specific thing. No, raisins and
mashed potatoes.
No.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, that's a belief system. Yeah,
I'm Nickelback.
Nickelback? No. I now know. Yeah, absolutely not. But I thought it was really fun. I enjoy doing this. I enjoy hanging out with you and us getting to talk to our audience like you're sitting here with us every single Wednesday evening.
Yeah, and it's one of those things that, again, so it started with that softball pitch of like, well, what if we did this? And that's like, I loved it because I came from like, well, okay, the content side of it, like what content we'll create. But then when I was pitching it to Philip, it was very much this idea of like, oh, well, this is how we do this with audio. This is how we do, which is so good because I have none of that knowledge. I'm like, in terms of like content creation and stuff like that, I have ideas and I'm like, okay, this would be funny, or people could connect with this, or people would like react to this. But I don't know any of the technical setup. He's going to do a tech demo, or not tech demo. What is it called? It's like
a tech tour.
Tech tour. He's going to do a tech tour later.
I'll do a tech tour.
And when he does that tech tour, I will just be not anywhere nearby because I don't, like, none of this I know. I know a little bit from doing audiobook narration of like audio engineering and how to like set up a space for mics. And even then, barely. I figured out how to make it work for my studio, and then that's all I touch. I'm like, I made it work. I don't know how. There's duct tape, glue, and prayers, and then I'm not going to touch any more of it.
Yeah, I'll talk about it a little bit later when we get into like the technical side of it, just why I'm so passionate about this and the reasons, good or bad, that I actually know how to work these things. But let's talk about the first episodes, Andrew. Okay, so I'm going to go in, my feelings, when we first got in there, we sat down, we had the mics in front of us, we had the camera on, we hit record, and it's like, how do we do this? I think one of the most funniest things, if you go back to the original episode, we could not get the intro.
We could not.
It is so easy to write something interesting down on a screen and be like, oh, this is a great intro. It just talks about, it's like, got the wordplay, but the whole sheltered and homeschool part in the middle of it tripped us up almost every single time.
And everywhere that I looked, they were like, hey, don't make your title hard to pronounce.
Yes.
And so we said no, and then decided we were going to do Sheltered Sages.
Sheltered Sages.
Like the amount of times we did that at the beginning of the podcast, where like, and we'd have to re-record the intro because we messed it.
Should have changed it to Homeschool Boys. That's it.
That's our spin-off show.
Boys.
Oh, that hurt me a little bit.
I'm sorry. I had to throw that there. I've been watching SNL when they had like the snack homies. So it's the Homeschool Boys.
I've been watching videos where they're like doing things back in 2002, and they're doing like the old like early 2000s flashback, like the what's that? But I'm just like, oh no, get rid of it, make it go away.
So yes, we had the intro. It's crazy, but then afterwards it was like, okay, how do we get in there? First, we had the idea of what we were doing, but it's like, how do we explain it to the audience? I'm a big like push. I want the audience to go along with it. You are a part of this process. So it's like, if they have no idea what being a picklefoot is, or they have no idea what these Reddit stories are, we need to bring them along. I think we did a pretty good job on the first episode trying to explain it, but
yeah, I mean, it's one of our more well-watched episodes, I think, because it's the first episode, so a lot of people will go back and rewatch it and things like that. But on top of all of that, it's a really good just kind of like, I think, introduction to like what our goal was for this show, which was two weird guys who are homeschooled, having fun, laughing, and reacting to crazy things that other people did. Who were not homeschooled.
That's true.
I should reiterate.
Who were not homeschooled. Most of them weren't homeschooled.
I mean, I assume some of them later in the seasons were, yes.
Yeah, we added those in there. All right, and then figuring out the stories. Yes. I think that was a fun part as well. Finding the stories that weren't too saturated, like let's say places like Two Hot Takes or other like Smosh Reads Reddit have already used before that you've already know. I think we probably have overlapped a few times.
Once or twice it happens, I think, but it's hard not to when like you're going and looking for stories that had so many wild reactions to it. I think it's one of those things too where it's, and speaking of like talking about these other shows, I think the hardest part when we first got started was it's like, I knew, and you had watched a couple of them as well, but like the way I started when I started was like I was talking like these people. Yeah. But I was like, oh, I'm emulating so and so from this show or so, and I was like, no, like that's not. And I don't think it was really until like close to halfway through the first semester until I really started to be like, okay, no, this is me. This is me. I'm going to talk about myself and I'm going to be my own person and like my real self on a camera versus me performing and being a person. It's a weird part of it. It's especially if like you're not comfortable performing or you're not comfortable being on camera. That's fair. It's like you go into that stage of, you know, oh, I have to be on. I have to be like, oh, I am so-and-so with the news. And but no, it's like people are here to hear us talk. And they don't want to hear a saturated, manicured version of us in some sense. Like, they want us to be well put together and well spoken, but at the same time they're not wanting to hear me being like, oh, well, I think that this person is a good person because of insert X, Y, and Z.
Splendid. I love that.
Cheerio, old chap and all that.
No, it's not the kind of episodes, it's not the kind of show that they came into. And so I think one of the big help with that is not just finding interesting stories, but finding stories that connected with us. Yes. I think a lot of our best episodes were when we went personally, I don't agree with the picklefoot in the situation, or I don't really feel that the situation should have existed to begin with, and started speaking a lot more into that. And so I think it was a little difficult because like when you're looking through Reddit, there's a lot of stuff on Reddit. If you've ever been on there, just like, goodness gracious.
And that was us, like when we were creating the podcast, it was like, what kind of content are we wanting? And we both work in positions and jobs where we're like, okay, well, we know we don't just want to do unfiltered, say whatever we say, throw it out to the window. It's like, I'm working in education, you're working in entertainment. It's like, and edit that out if you're not comfortable with saying it. But like we both work in fields, you know, we both said on the show before that we're Christians. We, you know, while I am a big proponent of being a real person and recognizing that there is a real world that we have to interact with, we didn't want to be just like a vulgar show where we're just reading about people cheating on their spouses or, you know, doing all these crazy things that you're just like, I can't believe they did that.
Wait until semester 4. I'm joking.
Once you're locked in, once we hit that 50th episode,
we're just going to go crazy.
Just kidding.
Go ahead. Sorry.
The 50th episode will happen this semester, though.
That's wild.
I know. I'm so excited.
I haven't been numbering them. I need to start numbering them out.
It's more of in my head. I have a mental count, kind of, but it will happen this semester. But regardless, it was that idea of like, we don't want to do sensationalist because those shows already exist. And that's, I think, one of the hardest parts when you're even considering creating a podcast or any form of media or content is it's like, well, does this already exist in some format? Yeah. And not that should limit you. I don't think it should be like, well, someone else is already doing the show, I shouldn't, because you might bring something new to the thing. And that's where like I knew our sheltered, like the homeschooling aspect of it takes place is like, we are weird in the sense of we are not the norm. We were homeschooled and we grew up in that environment and we came out of that, and it's one of those cool things that we get to share with people who don't have that experience and exposure. But then we got to move past that and move beyond. And so for anyone who's interested in starting, you don't have to have a specific like this has to be completely unique. There is nothing new under the sun. No. But at the same time, recognize what makes you special. And that was, I think, a big growing point for you and I. Yeah. And it's still a conversation that we readdress before we start every new semester. It's like, well, what is our goal for this semester? What is our goal that we're going to do with the podcast moving forward so that we can continue to grow and develop as creators and as hosts and things of that nature? Yeah. And I might be a little crazy in that side of it, but I love to put together plans, I guess. I'm going to say in that way. Very like type A good job of like setting a guide of what we're going to do. And like, and that's an area I fall short of frequently, because he's got a plan of all the like we sat down and we talked about it, which is good, but he would be the one to like write down the episode. He's got the not Teams, what's the other one? OneNote. Yes, he's got the OneNote doc with all of our semester episodes and all of the stories in there and everything like that.
To keep track of it. Yeah.
Yes, and he is very good keeping track of all of it, which is great for when we post the episodes, because he has all of the not subtitles, but all of the timestamps and everything for it.
Descriptions and stuff.
Yeah. And it's like he's done such a great job on the technical side of it that lets me get to kind of be here and be a personality kind of.
Yes. Yes. But thank you. It's more, I love to have, and I've spoken to it before, I'm going to open up a little bit more. I like to take wonderful ideas, and I feel like in my life doing different like entertainment stuff and different creative aspects, I like to take people's ideas and expand them to something bigger. It's like a really big passion of mine. And I know it's like, okay, don't you have ideas of your own? Yeah, absolutely. I make films. I'm very creative on that side. I enjoy doing what I do. But I think there is something to be said about seeing something else and going, okay, this is idea for a podcast, or this is idea for a short film, or this is idea for, I don't know, a restaurant, and being like, how can we make this happen? How can I take this concept and pivot it into it? I enjoy it. It's almost like a puzzle for me to be like, okay, I'm hearing what you're saying. And even when we were talking about how this podcast was supposed to come together, it's like the passion that you were bringing towards it is what really brought me in. I was like, I want to be a part of this. I want to help out with this, but I'm going to need to know what this is.
Right.
And it wasn't, I hope it didn't come across as me going, okay, I have no clue what you're talking about, Andrew. But it's more like, I need you to know fully what this is, so that when we're aligned on, okay, this is how we're filming, this is what we're doing with it, these are the guests that we're having alongside of it, it just clicks. Yeah. And I feel that once we got that down, it might not have been the first episode, but once we figured it out, it just worked. Yeah. We could sit down, cool. We could talk through the episodes. It wasn't like us going back and forth. I was worried about that too. It's like, what if we disagree about whether some person's a picklefoot? But because we understood what this show was, we really didn't have that ever. It was just more of us going, this is what it is.
That way. I don't agree with you necessarily, but I can see your point of view.
Yes. Yeah. So I appreciated that too. And it also allowed me to kind of just pivot my brain and go, okay, this is a new challenge. This is a new concept that I'm trying to figure out. How can I do it in the most efficient, highest quality way while making sure that people get there? Yeah. I'm still, I think, even for myself personally, you do such a great job of going, this is my thoughts. Here's what I'm thinking about that. And I sometimes go, this might be my thought. I don't, maybe.
I appreciate that you say that, because I don't feel like that. Like we've talked about before, where you're coming on and you'll be, you're like, it's a formulaic, like A, B, C. And I'm over here being like, okay, but this, and then followed up by this, and then followed up by this. I sometimes let the train of thought go on the entire
journey.
I was going to make a reference to the Disney ride, but my brain is farting.
Is it Animal Kingdom we're talking about?
No, the famous one at Magic Kingdom.
The famous one at Magic Kingdom.
The wildest ride in the wilderness. My brain is forgetting the name.
Oh, it's
I'm glad you're also forgetting the name.
Darn it.
Thunder Hill? Thunder Mountain?
Thunder Mountain.
Thunder Mountain, yes.
Thunder Mountain.
So anyways, my brain is like the Thunder Mountain track, where sometimes it's like there is something going on there and we will arrive at the end eventually, but it is a roller coaster along the way.
Roller coaster.
I'm just glad you're enjoying it. That I think
everyone is enjoying it. All right, so let's talk a little bit more about the stories we found themselves. First one, finding the stories where we could believe OP. So
that's hard.
I'm going to do this as a two-parter that's there, because whenever I'm looking at stories, sometimes I'll run them past my wife and be like, hey, here's a funny story. Do you think it's worthwhile? Mm-hmm. It's also like a big thing. We don't want to bring in stories here because we don't curse on the podcast. Yes. That there's a lot of cursing in the stories.
Sometimes we have to self-edit in the middle of the story.
We're self-editing. So if you see us pause for a little bit, there's probably, like, especially in a space where you're like, there might have been. Yeah, there was. There was
probably.
And we just skipped it.
F-bombs and other words.
Yeah, we just filtered it out. But it's also like some stories people, because you're on Reddit and you want to make it funny and silly. They're like, what's the craziest thing I can say? Am I the picklefoot for ripping a hole through my friend's house so I could watch my TV from outside? It's like, that's not real.
Yeah.
And if it is real, yes, obviously.
Right.
And so then I'm running it past her. Some of the ones that I'm like, I think this is believable, but would you believe it? And she's like, no, it's probably like a fake one. Or someone she's like, it might be unbelievable, but it's interesting enough that we can go along with it. So we'll talk about the stories that she brought up later on. But yeah, finding stories was kind of difficult.
Yeah, and it's one of those things that like you do have to take time on, which like it's where I feel bad because my life is crazy, and sometimes it's like we'll be planning an episode and I'll come over to record, and like if my wife is coming with me to hang out with your wife, I'll like, hey, can you drive please, so I can like actually sit here and read these episodes, because I am not as on top of it with planning out the stories and things like that. But in the sense of like finding good stories, it's the ones that I always find that made me go, oh, this is a situation where I want those to be the stories that we talk about, because I'm like, there's a conversation to have here.
Yep.
And that's where I have to, like, when we're looking at stories and we're deciding what we're going to talk about, I want to be like, not only is this going to be a story that we can have a conversation about, but also like, is there something that I can both either relate to this, or that like does come back to being sheltered and being a homeschooler, and like how I view the world a little bit differently than the way that people do. Yeah. Because no one wants to hear a podcast where people are just agreeing with what the internet says 24/7. Even though it does happen quite frequently where you and I do agree or disagree. There have been times where we like vehemently disagree with what with what people post online, but for very different reasons. Yeah. And so I think that's where it's one of those interesting things where, you know, we've got to pick stories that both we can talk about and are interesting, but are also going to challenge us to have a conversation and have a dialogue. And I think that's like really, and what we've come to more and more to realize the more and more we've done this podcast, is that that's what we want the podcast to be. Is it's about conversations. It's about exploring. It's about discovering who we are as people. And obviously, like, the beginning was you and me kind of reminiscing about what it meant to be homeschoolers and like reliving our childhoods and talking about those kind of things. And there are still moments where we get to do that. Yes. But now we're entering this next era, and this next era kind of really encourages, we wanted to expand. So it's like we started the semester with our interview with Miramar and being able to like, hey, what is forensic science? Like, what is that? And
what is that?
Fascinating. like literally, I still think about, like, I watch clips from that episode and I'm like, that's just really cool.
It's really, really cool.
And like, there's things we cut out of the episode just because it was like a little on the intense side or stuff like that. But it was just like, it's fascinating. And it's not something I ever would have thought to do if I didn't have this space to do that in.
That's fair.
And like same with, you know, different stories and stuff like that. We want to explore outside of our comfort zones, and we want to encourage our listeners to come along with us and do that. And so I think that's kind of the cool part about having a podcast.
I will also say, and with the context of the stories, some of you guys, if you're listening and you're also on the Reddit story pages where you're posting about those things, some of you guys are really good writers. Congratulations to you. You're doing a great job. Some others of you are not as good writers. You're probably not listening to this podcast.
Paragraphs. just break it into paragraphs. They don't have to be good paragraphs, but please, for the love of all that is holy, do not put an entire 1,000-word post with no paragraph breaks. Oh my gosh. And this is just good internet etiquette, period.
Yes, please.
Just paragraph breaks. Add an extra line. It's not correct in terms of writing grammar, but for legibility on the internet and on your phone, it's night and day.
It is night and so day. Much more helpful for those of you who are thinking about sending in a story. We will fix it if you send it to our email, the Gmail, and we might even do something on Reddit maybe in the future. Yeah. Like, we'll post something on there where you guys can actually fill in. But yes, it's hard. I would also say just keeping up with some of the narratives, because some of the stories would have tangents on the side where, like, you're still reading it and I'm just like, I'm trying to keep into it, like, try in my brain, figure it out, but I'm lost. I've lost the beginning of it. It's like, who is this person?
Yeah, like, wait, OP is what?
Yeah. And so, like, later on, I think we got way better at keeping up with, like, who OP is, what their context is, and also finding better stories that had that kind of connected in there.
Absolutely.
But, like, I even told you before, it's like, I am struggling sometimes just keeping up with what is going on. They're like, am I the picklefoot for falling down the stairs 7 years? And then, like, 5 minutes in, yeah, and I was on an airplane, and when I got to Phoenix, Arizona, I'm like,
Why are we in Arizona?
like, I don't want to stop you, like, Andrew.
Aunt. I almost said a real aunt.
Oh, no, okay.
Okay, Aunt Florence, come back to the main plot. What is happening?
Yeah, what is happening? Where are we at? But like finding a way to filter it in, and even when you're reading it in a way that kind of specifies, like, hey, this is a side tangent versus this is the specifics that we're going into.
The side tangents make me believe it's a real person, because
That's true.
AI doesn't do side tangents.
It really doesn't. But then we pivoted from a lot of the stories. I mean, it was even stories there, but we did games instead. Yes. We started being more diverse. Okay, so one of my favorite games that we've done, and I still enjoy, is the rapid fire episodes.
We've done one now every semester, and I'm down for another one this semester, so be on the watch out for that. Yeah, because it's like, it still keeps it in our thing, but also it like forces us to go above and beyond and be like, okay, can I come up with an answer in quick succession?
It's difficult, but it's a challenge, because instead of just being like, oh, here's a mic you can talk through, and I think that was what we were struggling with our first episode, was like, I'm giving you a story, you can say whatever you want about it. This is your podcast. Like, you're a host on here. I could just go on a tangent about, I did fishing when I was in 3rd grade and I got a fish hook stuck in my neck and it was terrible. Or
that actually did happen to me.
It happened to me too.
Really?
Yeah.
It's a homeschool thread.
No, it's a homeschool fishing line.
Oh, okay. It's a homeschool
between
line.
Everyone.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Mine was deep sea fishing, so a little bit different.
Oh no, I was not on a ship.
The hook actually got stuck in my head, but it definitely, like, the weight hit me, and then the hook dragged up. So that was fun. And then I might have hooked someone. I can't remember. I'll have to check with my dad, because he is the one who went with us on the trip. But
okay, since we're on the story there, I'm going to tell my story of getting hooked over there. A little tangent, and then we'll get back to it.
Stop listening?
They could. No, please don't stop listening.
Please don't.
Please. It's a good story, I promise. Okay, I'll do it really quick. Now I'm nervous. Anyways, so we were fishing. I don't know what grade it was, honestly, but we were out fishing. I was younger. I was like 11 years old. Everyone was like casting their lines into the lake and going into there. So how you cast a line, if you've never done fishing before, that's in that way. You cast it back first, and then you launch it forward. Yep. So generally, you watch out to make sure that no one's behind you. There was a bunch of people who were fishing, and that it was their first time. It was my first time fishing too. So one kid throws his line back. And as it goes back, I feel something kind of just like connect into my neck. Just like right in the neck. And so then I look over really quickly and I see this line hanging over towards like him, and he's about to launch it forward. And I go, wait. And he stops, he freezes. And I'm so glad I screamed out like, wait, before he did it. Or else I would have gotten like a chunk.
Oh.
Like, sorry, I should have given a trigger warning before this story.
Oh, no, you're good.
Yeah.
that would have not been fun.
No, but like they were able to get it out. It was crazy. It hurt a little bit, but I was just more shocked that it could have been really bad.
It could have been very bad.
And it wasn't. Yeah. And then they were like yelling at the kid. I was like, no, he's fine. I'm not angry with him. I'm just really happy that I have my neck intact in there. But yeah, that was the fishing. Anyways. It's fun to do rapid fire episodes because we get to take our ideas, and instead of having the entire time to kind of pontificate about everything that's happening in life, we have to truncate it down into a very small amount of time.
Yes.
It also allows us to go, okay, what am I actually trying to say here? Since I can't say everything that I might be thinking of, I can't just let the train go. I have to go, okay, this is what we're doing.
Yes.
And it also helped me figure out the other episodes, because it's like, okay, while this one we're forced to do it in a very short amount of time, in the other episodes we don't have to talk about this for 15 20 minutes on it. We can just like really focus in, this is really what I want to say, and then I'm done with it. So I enjoyed those.
It's good. It was a good opportunity for us to explore different avenues, and we've done that one. We just did last episode, we did like the newlywed game and the thing, which is fun. It's also very interesting because we're in a weird dynamic where we have a podcast, which is definitely that's a word, definitely an audio focused medium, but we do it visually because we have the YouTube channel and we have the video episodes on Spotify and things like that. So we can use things with visuals, but we also have to keep in mind that we have an audio audience.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like some of the games and activities that we do, we have to keep that in mind.
Yep.
And so it's been a fun little challenge to think of different games or activities. But like we've also done the one where the wives pick the stories.
The wives pick the stories was
fun. I enjoyed that one a lot.
Hilarious. I'm going to talk about that with the puppets later on. But we also did the Guess the Story, which is a new one that we did for the last semester. I enjoyed that one. Yeah. So it's really interesting to see, like, okay, we've been doing this for a little bit of time. Can we just guess the story from the title? Like, are we that good? I think we did a pretty good job, honestly.
Vibes. Yeah. It was more, I think, of a fun, like I told him in prep for that episode, it was like, this is going to be a fun opportunity for us to flex our creative improv muscles of like how much can we come up with on the spot with the limited context that we have. And that was a lot of fun. That was quite
really great.
enjoyable.
I enjoyed that.
So we definitely, like, it gave us some ideas of things that we could do, some ideas of things we should definitely try and do in the future, things of that nature that could be a lot of fun. And I like, one of the things, I was so mad because I wanted, when we did our theme parks episode, I was talking about it with my wife afterward. We actually talked about it before the episode, and I forgot to talk to you about it until after the episode was finished.
Okay.
But I wanted to do a game where, like, I described a written aspect of a ride to you at Disney, and you had to, like, just, or any theme park in, like, the Central Florida area, and you had to tell me either what the park was or like what the ride was, what park it was at, and things like. And I'm like, I'm mad that I didn't do that because that would have been awesome.
Oh,
and
fun.
like,
We'll have to do it next time.
Ideas too, or like things in the past where I'm like, oh, that would have been fun. And you know, it'd be great if we had a time machine or something crazy to fix that, which could be a fun transition for us to talk about, like, the other things we do with our semester.
The other things that we do with our semester. Well, I had guests on there, but I'm going to skip that. Yes, we're going to talk about the skits, because before we got to guests, we got to skits.
Yes.
So,
which was fun.
A little bit of context for everyone that's there. We do skits at the beginning and endings of our semesters. Yes. It's mostly something that I kind of asked Andrew if it would be okay for us to do. I basically told him we're doing this. Like, one of the things in the contract when I signed on to be a host of this show, I was like, I also need to be able to do skits.
I didn't sign one.
Well, we'll have to talk about that a little bit later. There's like 17 pages. Anyways, but... There is no contract. But it's more just being able to have fun and do funny little skits about it. There is, so the characters that are there. It's a fun time because, Andrew, I don't think you've had a lot of, like, experience on YouTube before. Is that true?
I wanted to be a YouTube game streamer so bad when I was younger. And I think I made a YouTube channel. Yeah. And I think I uploaded one video with no audio of me playing Metroid Prime Fusion, the Game Boy game.
Nice.
And I, like, uploaded one video of it. Never did anything else with it.
And it's gone?
It's gone.
That's fair. So I had a different experience with YouTube. I was on YouTube for a good bit of time doing videos. I was hoping that I would break it big and then become like the biggest YouTuber ever, as everyone does. And then it didn't really work out, obviously. And so then I went over and I started doing films and other sites and, like, got my gear better, and, like, the things that I never thought I would be able to do as a kid when I was on YouTube, I'm now, like, I'm doing it, which is really great. So I enjoy it. Yeah, it's very, very fun. And then I came back to it. I was like, okay, well, I still want to make little, like, short films and things like that. But back when I was starting out on YouTube, I had this character of basically my character, which was me, because I realized if I just film myself doing stuff, don't take this wrong towards me, I'm not cool. Like, when you're walking in front of a camera, it's so hard to look cool doing, like, crazy things or different stuff like that. I don't understand how people half the time do it. So it's like, instead of being cool, I'm going to play a goofy character that for some reason is capable of creating time travel, laser cannons, weird technical stuff that he barely understands, but, like, he's doing it. And it's like this goofy, weird character that's just, like, just trying him out. He doesn't even get it. And so then I enjoyed with Andrew, it's like, now instead of just having the goofy character that does the weird stuff, you have the goofy guy, the funny person, and then you have the straight man that's along with it. That's what they, like, in the joke there. It's like, he's like, what are you doing?
Yes. Yes, very much
And so that's the skits that we're playing into. I think it's really wonderful to add in the side of homeschooling. My character for the longest time in my YouTube videos didn't talk. So now for the first time.
So true. I didn't even realize that, but you never had any dialogue in any of your videos.
Because I didn't want to actually have a mic. Because then I had to set it up. And I was like, I don't want to have a mic there. So
honestly, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So just silent. You put Foley in the background to fill it in and you continue on. Now I actually have to speak. But now you get to hear like his character that's across there.
You gotta expand your horizons a little bit every once in a while.
Yeah, they're fun. I enjoy them. Hopefully you guys enjoy them.
Well, I remember when you first pitched it and I loved it because it's like, and we've talked about before with like my acting background, I've done a lot of stage production in terms of like musical theater and acting and like audiobook narration and things like that. I don't get to do a lot of film stuff. I've done one film that I was in, which was really, really fun. And I never got to see it. I'm pretty sure the entire production just fizzled out and they never finished it, which is, I know there's like a master complete where I'm there because I've seen the clips of me from the film, but it's not like you can't find it on Amazon or anything like that. But like when he told about the skits, I was like, oh, this will be fun. This is cool. And like he's every time he's had the skits, I'm just like, oh, this is great. And then our last semester when we had over the summer, because like we took the break for the summer, but that gave us the opportunity to record all of these fun little like teaser up videos where we're like doing Dungeons and Dragons, or we're doing that like fun. You know, like playing video games or watching movies or Taco Bell. That was hilarious. Speaking like fun behind the scenes of that one, Bree, which I can now use her name because she's been on the episode. So Bree actually like called when we were in the middle of recording, and instead of like stopping the recording and having the phone call with her, I hit the button to keep it recording while we were talking.
Let's go.
And we just talked about Taco Bell.
Talking about Taco Bell. It was very candid. It was actually so real.
It was so technically she has been on the podcast before in that sense, but she just didn't know it. She didn't know it. I told her. Or at least on the teasers they're there. If you're on Spotify or something else, you might not have seen them. Check them out on YouTube. They're still there. They should be. There's some fun little acting side things that we get to do.
But speaking of that, we've had guests on this show. We had our parents, which was wonderful.
That was really cool, actually.
It was really nice, yeah.
How all of that came together was very much one of those like, this was meant to happen kind of things. Because it was like, we talked about it and it was like, well, it'd be cool if we did this. And you and I started instantly talking about the logistics of streaming your parents in, because they're not from Central Florida. And so like streaming your parents in from up north and my family getting together. I'm like, okay, well, we could do my family live, but it'd be really hard if like we could do my family live and your family stream, but maybe we just all do streaming. But how do we stream 4 separate places into a podcast? And then your parents made it simple. Like, we could come down for that.
Literally. My father, when I was spoken with, it was both my parents, but my father was the one who said it. He was like, we can come down. Like, we're okay flying down to be a part of your podcast. And I was like, I felt bad because it's like, you shouldn't have to fly down just to be a part of this podcast. It's not that serious. And it's like, and I really appreciate it if he's listening, or my mom is listening to, like both of you guys. I appreciate it because they're like, we love you, and we want to be here with you. Basically, any reason we have to come down and see you, we're gonna do it. And I was like, oh, thanks, parents, thanks, guys. That's really nice. It was really sweet.
It was really cool, and that was my first chance getting to meet them, actually. Yeah, which was cool and terrifying all at the same time, because it's like meeting your friend's parents for the first time, and you're just like, okay, I hope we mesh. I hope we're cool. I hope this works well.
It's great
because it's like, we're gonna have to film an episode. Yeah, like I hope it's there.
So, well, I got to talk to your parents. I had met them before, but it was really good to hear their perspectives on homeschooling, because it's like really all I've heard was mine and my other friends' parents on like what homeschooling was. It's like, so let's hear a little bit more. So they were great. I loved all of our parents on the episode. I think it was one of our best episodes ever on that way.
Absolutely. I love it. It was great.
And then we had Miramar.
Yes.
I'm saying her name wrong. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Miramar?
Miramar.
Okay. Miramar. She was fantastic. It was fun. I still said it wrong?
No, you're good.
Okay. You're nodding.
Yes,
okay.
It was an awesome episode.
It was awesome. We got to learn so much about it. I learned that I potentially missed my calling in life to be a forensic scientist. I don't even know what I would do forensic scientist based in, but I would
never do forensic science. So.
Oh yeah, because I can't do it because the context of what that is.
Yes.
So never mind. That's not what I was supposed to do. I'm too empathetic for that.
Yeah, you're too
but
kind-hearted.
It was really cool hearing her and having her here talking about it, and it's like, it's also having your friends kind of talk about something they're really passionate about. It's like, I knew her before because we were playing like D&D together, and we got to know a lot about what was going on, but it was like, okay, no, she has a whole separate life outside of D&D, outside of how we know her, that is just really, really cool.
Yeah,
so
and I think
I
that's
enjoyed
one
that.
of those cool things about the podcast that's been really cool is it really does require you to pull back the layers of things, right?
Yeah.
So like we're talking about like, you know, talking about our family, and we got to talk to our parents, and like I learned more. It's like some things about my parents that I learned for the first time that day because we were doing this interview.
Yep.
And it's like, it's cool because that is what that idea of exploring and that idea of searching and growing and becoming bigger people to like expand our region and not be as sheltered as we are. Even as like we're not homeschoolers, we're still working on being less sheltered each and every day. And not in like you have to know the world and you have to be corrupted, but just like, no, just knowing how big the world is and all the really cool things out there and the things that we don't understand. Yeah. Which is just a really, really cool part of it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like, instead of taking this as we were sheltered for a lot of our lives, now we're stuck, we're lost. And it's like, for so many other people, they grew up with a lot of these pop culture references, with a lot of this other stuff that's going around, these social contexts. For us, in very many ways, we were learning a lot of it for the first time when we were going out there. Instead of taking it as, oh, I'm so behind, I've lost everything, I think both of us really took it as, there's so much for us to discover.
Yeah.
This is such a wonderful time and such a wonderful ability to not have to think, okay, Miley Cyrus is fantastic because she's Hannah Montana. It's like, I can, as an adult, kind of go over it and it's like, wow, Miley Cyrus is really interesting because now I'm learning it without the added context of, oh, she's a pop star on Disney Channel type thing. So like, you start to really be able to understand the things that other people might just have taken for granted because they grew up with it.
Yeah, and I think that's one of those things too that is really interesting is that, you talked about the context, and I think even just like, sometimes, and it's hard because we're going to do another episode later, the little sneak peek for later in the semester. We're going to do a little episode that's going to be a little heavier in terms of like some of the negative side effects of homeschooling that we've seen out there. But that's one of the parts that hurts my heart every time I see people who are in homeschooling and actively complain about it, because they do see it like that. They do see it as like, I have missed out on so much. I have lost out on, and I will never get that back. I've lost. And there is an element of rightness, especially with some of these stories that I've read from some of these people. But there's also this like, that's this not realizing that, yes, in the scope of your life, that 18 years of being a child seems so long. But now that like you and I are on the other side of that, like we've been living our lives, I'm now approaching where I've almost been, as of this year, I think I'll be out of high school for 12 years.
Wow.
And it's like, so that means so that will mean I've been out of school almost as long as I was in school, right? I think that that means.
I'm not good at math in that way.
You start school around 4 or 5, and then you end school when you're 18, usually 17, 18.
Oh yeah.
And so 15, give or take 15. No,
you've been out of school for as much
12
as you
to 13
were.
years. So we've been almost out of school as much as we were in school.
If you don't count college.
Which, I mean, you can count college if you want, but it's that reality of like, there is so much of your life ahead of you. And the cool thing is, because you weren't built this foundation that everyone else was built, that you were built this foundation of like curiosity, and you were built this foundation of like, you don't have to approach things a certain way. Now you get to go into the world and learn more and more and more about it. You get to explore more and more and more and more. And so like, that's been, I think, like, even doing this podcast and getting to talk to people, even outside of it, it's really helped me to appreciate the parts of homeschooling that I loved, because now as an adult, I can look back at it and be like, this was a blessing in this area. So there were hard parts. There were parts where it's like, hey, like, I'm not going to pretend I didn't want to go and be more involved in drama and arts and like theatrical stuff. But at the same time, there were so many opportunities that I was given, and so many like connections that I got to make, and so many people I interacted with, and things I got to learn on the backside of it, that yes, I was behind the curve a little bit, but at the same time, I now still learned these things, and at an age where I can appreciate it too. Like sometimes as when we're younger, we learn something, we don't appreciate the content for what it is.
Yes.
But now as an adult, we can appreciate it in the full context.
Yeah. It's great. It's great to learn that and be like, oh, these TV shows, some of them are really bad. iCarly, weird.
It's a weird show.
But I really do enjoy it.
not my cup of tea, but I'm glad
it's not your cup of tea. Yeah,
No,
it's very strange, but I do enjoy iCarly.
I thought I would really enjoy Victorious. And I watched like one or two, like three or four episodes because I was like, I got to get into this because this is like a pop singing high school. This is like the kid friendly version of Glee. And now I couldn't get into it.
No, it's not as interesting as you expect it to.
You would expect it to be.
All right, so getting into tech.
Yes.
For this one, I'm going to give a little history of why I like tech so much. You know that I work in entertainment and film and other things like that, so that's one of the reasons why I like recording tech and other systems that are alongside it. But I also used to work on setting up, I guess, gear. I was an AV for churches. I'm going to say multiple churches because I did set up AV systems for it. It was around the time of COVID when everything shut down and suddenly everybody wanted to switch their church AV systems and church video systems from just what it was at there to record. And at the time
that kind of recorded the audio but encouraged everyone to be in person.
Yeah, and you throw it on a DVD and you call it a day to we need to go live, and we need to go live next Sunday. You've got a week. So just me looking into the software, the systems, and I had been looking before on how to like set up live show kind of content, and I just really loved the challenge and the puzzle of how to make all these things work together. So I really learned a lot about it, and then I didn't do it very much, and then Andrew was like, maybe we do a podcast. I was like, oh, you have no clue how much information I have on how to make live stuff work.
Which is great because I have nothing. I would be from ground zero, which is one of the reasons I've never even considered that. Is because I was just like, I'm not equipped to deal with this, and the learning curve seems too steep for me.
Well, we're going to try to make it a little easier. I'm going to explain what each of these things are, and I'm going to give the names for them. It's not the way that I would have done it if I had as much money as I possibly could ever get for this. That said, it works. Yes. So, first off, we're going to talk about audio. We're using the HyperX SoloCast. Also, we're not sponsored by any of these things. We paid for all of this ourselves.
So if any of you want to sponsor us, let us know, please.
Please do. HyperX SoloCast microphones. At the time I was looking at them, they were like $30. They've gone up in price now. Yes. I think they're like $60, $70. So it's like expensive, but these are great mics for what they are.
Mics,
yeah, they're USB mics. They connect them with USB-C and they go over into the computer that's over there. The mic stands, which you got later on, are like the InnoGear microphone stand. There's a 2-pack. So I only had to pay for one thing, and I got 2 microphone stands. I love it. There's a lot of cables. I'm not going to go into all the cables there because there's a lot.
There's a lot of cables.
Yeah, there's a lot of cables that are there.
We don't show you the floor.
There's cables everywhere here. Don't look down. Don't. Okay, thank you. For our headphones, to allow both of us to hear at the same time without having to share headphones, like me flipping it over and like, hey, Andrew, you're over here. And that way.
That'd be so awkward.
It'd be so very uncomfortable.
I would just not wear headphones.
Yeah. No, thank you. We're using a Fosi. It's Fosi audio. It's a 4-channel headphone amplifier. So basically we're hearing the same thing in both of our headphones. So it's not like one mix for him, one mix for me, but it works for us. And also, since we have 4 outputs, technically we could have up to 4 people listening at the same time so they can hear themselves. We don't have 4 mics, but we have 4 outputs of the headphones. Yet. Yes, potentially in the future. All right, video. We have a hodgepodge of different cameras that are here, and I'll show you now. We should have a video on our YouTube page later on where I'm just going to show like a walkthrough of all the tech here. Our main camera is the Logitech Brio 101. I looked into a lot of different webcams, and I have a ton of webcams just sitting around in this room that I've tried out. I have so many. I have experimented with so many. This one just works.
It's really good, honestly.
Yeah. And really, a lot of webcams, what they do, they have this very wide angle lens, so you can get really close, and then you don't have to worry about like not being in frame. I don't want as a wide angle lens. I want it to be kind of focused in, so I can move the camera further away, and we can still get the same look. So it's further away and I still get it cropped in. I had to go to like 3 stores to try to find that. I did 2. 3 stores to try to find that. And yeah, that was it. It's the main camera. Camera 2 over there, the one that Andrew is looking into, we might cut over to that. That is the Canon EOS Rebel T6, not the T6i, just the T6 with the 24mm lens on there. It's one of my favorite lenses of all time. Not one of my favorite cameras of all time, but favorite lens of all time. And then on the other one, we have the Canon EOS Rebel T7i, which is connected in via HDMI. That's going over towards me. I didn't have the same lens, and I wanted the same lens. But do you know that lens costs like $200 now? That 24.
Serious?
Yes,
That's wild.
right. That little pancake lens is like $200.
That's wild.
And I'm trying to think, did I spend $200 on that lens?
Probably not. Maybe.
I don't know. Please
Purchases we made when we were younger and
don't
had
tell
money.
my wife. Okay.
You're on a podcast.
Oh gosh. Okay. Lights. We're using the NEEWER CB 221 210 watt LED video light. It's hard to say that, but I'll try to put the things in the description too if you want to go check it out. It's a big light. It's got a big white box in the front of it that it makes it look really nice, and our skin looks fantastic. We're glowing there if you're looking at the video version of it.
Gonna be golden.
And then we have the soft box, which is the Godox UL box, 45 by 60 centimeters. The computer dongles that I'm using, which sometimes work, I have to unplug and replug. They are the Ugreen Revo Dock Pro, which is allowing me to plug in all of the microphones at the same time, as well as all of the video equipment at the same time. And it's all being recorded to the MacBook Pro 14-inch. The M1 Pro processor. So if you're thinking you need the newest version of the processor, no, technically not. This is just the M1.
Yep.
I haven't upgraded, and it's great. So I recommend that. MacBook's wonderful.
Yeah.
Not even like a full like Mac Studio, just MacBook that's there. As far as our software that we're using to record is OBS. I love OBS. There's so many reasons.
Their praises
I see, because you can do so much with the software. Whenever I was setting up live streams and stuff like that, it's like anything you really want to do, you can probably do in OBS, and it's probably free. Like the software itself is free, but you could probably do the craziest thing that you were thinking of in OBS for free, as long as you're willing to tinker with it. And I love to tinker. Editing software. Afterwards, when you're seeing this video, is probably going to be edited by, was it Final Cut Pro? So yes. I love Final Cut Pro 10.
I use Final Cut Pro for our like shorts and stuff like that. So you send me the vertical links, the vertical videos, so I can cut those into like snippets, little TikTok shorts and stuff.
And something new I've been using too is the Autopod. Yes, I know Autopod doesn't work with Final Cut, but I also have Premiere. So I use Autopod and Premiere, have it cut the episodes between the multicam stuff, shift it over to Resolve because it doesn't go directly into Final Cut, export it out from Resolve into an XML that can be opened in Final Cut Pro, and then edit it in Final Cut Pro. It's a round trip. It's a lot, but it works.
I don't know what it is. I know those words meant. This is why Philip edits the videos.
It's a whole process. We'll put the links down below if you guys want to. Hopefully you didn't skip that part, because you could have skipped that part and just gone to the next one, because it will be the chapters. But we're going to talk about our favorite moment so far of the podcast. All right. You want to go back and forth. So I'm going to start out with my favorite moment of the podcast. One of them, I'm not listing them in any order.
That's fair.
The deviled egg episode opening. I'm going to tell them a little story. I was exhausted. I think that was the 3rd episode we had recorded in a row. But I was also angry at these people that were in there. I think it worked for the episode, but like if you see me now, know that it's not necessarily anger as much as like absolute exhaustion.
Vindication and exhaustion coupled together.
Yes, but it was really fun. I enjoyed it. The deviled egg episode is one of my favorite episodes that we've done actually so far as well, just because it's like we get to talk about people who didn't do great things.
Yeah, we didn't try and vindicate them in any way, shape, or form. It was like, no, you're the garbage person from the beginning.
Yeah. All right.
Which is nice to have. Like, we don't want those to be every episode, but it's nice to have we're gonna bash people this
Yeah.
episode, and they deserve to be bashed.
Absolutely.
Oh gosh, hard. I know you warned me about this ahead of schedule, but I did not officially.
That's okay. Let me give one too, or good?
No, I think one of the favorite ones has probably been our D&D geek dive, and it wasn't that it was like an amazing episode or anything, but I think it's because it opened the doorway for me of like, this is what, like, I think that was the first episode that we did that I felt in my element.
That's
in the
fair.
sense of like I am Andrew, like we talked about earlier, where like I was playing these personas, but that episode was the first one where I was like, this is me. This is like me sharing my passion about this thing. This is like how I talked about it with my wife to get her interested in playing and all these other things.
Yeah.
Like that was the first episode where I felt like we could connect with the material and the things that we were passionate about. And it started that progression where I was like, we need to do this every 4 episodes, because like that felt great. And even this episode, I felt it too, of like being able to dig into something above reading a Reddit story is awesome.
Yeah. I enjoyed that too. I thought it was great. I'm going to pivot to my next one that I really enjoyed. Was basically favorite moments of it. Having my parents talk about me. It was interesting because I'm not the oldest kid. I'm not the youngest kid of them. And so it was also a fun moment to have, both my parents sitting on a couch. I mean, in a selfish way, only talking about me the entire time.
They talked about your siblings a lot too. It
They
was not
did.
just you.
No, I'm going to say they talked about me the entire episode.
To keep you humble.
I don't need to be humble. They talked about me. So I enjoyed it. It was great. Thank you, my parents, for coming out and only talking about me for like an hour and a half or more, and about how wonderful I was as a child. I appreciate it. It was great. But it was like just really fun going, oh yeah, like hearing about yourself when you were a child from people who really knew you as a child. It's like, I was like that, or I didn't know I was like that. So I think that was a fun time.
It was a fun time, and like I think of our episodes, that was my favorite episode. Was our parents episode that we've done so far.
That's fair.
I think for my last favorite moment, was and again it's from another geek dive, but working with you to do the musical.
Oh, yes, that was fun.
Musicals geek dive was just so much fun. And it was that like, because it's a huge passion of mine, and like we were here and we worked on it probably 4 hours that day, where we were just saying, my voice was by the end of it, but it was so much fun. And like when we got things like, even if like, and like looking back, I'm like, it's not like the most amazing thing ever in terms of just like, vocal quality or other things that I like, I could have probably done a lot better and things of that nature.
You did great.
But even regardless of all of that, it was just so much fun making it, and so much fun getting to like have the experience of almost doing like a studio video, like a musical like moment. And it was a fun opportunity of like, when are we going to cut the sounds, and like learning. I think we learned a lot about our creative styles in that moment too, of like, you're very much this, even like we talked about that type A of like, I want to know exactly how this is going to work. And I am much more of like a punch and roll person, where it's like, let's get this started, let's see where this goes, and then we can make changes on the fly as we need to, which can be very dangerous if we're not communicating.
That's true. That's true.
But even like when I do my audiobooks, that's how I do my things. It's like, I'm very much like, I'm going to run with it until I need to stop.
Yeah.
And like, that's how I do a lot of things, is where I'm just like, I'm going to keep moving through it. And like, once I hit that stopping point, I'm going to back up. And I'm like, all right, cool. We're going to pause here for a second. We're going to keep going. But it was cool to kind of have that opportunity to create, like, be creative with you in that regard. Plus our scary story. I just love our geek dives. They're so much fun.
We have a whole playlist of geek dives. If you guys want to go over and watch all of them, we would recommend it. I think we watched the geek dives as well.
Yeah.
We were just like, those are fun.
Those are fun. I rewatched a lot of our geek dives just because those are just fun stories that we get to share.
So the musical episode was really fun as well. I enjoyed it. I was like, I hadn't played guitar in a while. And so for the beginning, I think it was multiple parts of the entire thing. I was on the guitar, and I was just like, waving through a window, playing guitar on that one.
Yep.
It was so freeing. It was just like that little pause section, and then the verse where you're just going, you're like, ding. I was like, oh, that's satisfying. It's like, after I recorded it, I had to cut the mic before, because I was like, oh yeah. It was fun. Awesome. It was great.
That's good.
But yes, I enjoyed that a lot. My last favorite thing of there is the puppet wedding story
that was
from our
such a
wives
good
picked stories. So the fun thing, if you haven't seen that yet, you need to go watch that episode. I'm going to link it below. Please watch the episode, because I hadn't read the story before she so I was reading it live as it was going on. And I'm like, oh my goodness, what is going on?
I think you had only read the title.
Yeah.
And that was like, the title in and of itself is like, what the heck is happening here? What are we doing?
So it was strange, but then as it kept going, I was like, oh goodness, this is such a minefield of craziness. And I am so surprised that we are reading this live across, to the point that I had to just pause it a little bit beforehand. I was like, this is one of the greatest episodes we've ever created.
This is a moment.
This is a moment. I love it.
Peak internet moment.
This is a peak internet moment. It's just strange. So I think I like that one.
And it's honestly probably been one of our most controversial stories that I talk with the people outside when we talk about the episode.
Yeah.
Because I have such strong feelings about it, and people do not share those strong feelings with me. And because even talking with Brie about it, it's very much one of those things where she's just like, but destination weddings are the same thing. I'm like, okay. No, but no.
Yeah, we have discussed it together as a group, outside of the episode, and just going, but I don't think that it's really an interesting story.
Yeah. So,
but I guess my favorite part about all of this is that you guys are watching along with us. We really want it to be that it's not necessarily just us sitting here talking about Reddit stories or talking about any stories. Technically, it's you coming along with us. That was the big core of what I was trying to push across, and Andrew and I were talking about as well.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest compliments that we have gotten from someone who listened to this is that they feel like when we start these episodes that they're sitting in the room with us and listening to us talk about something. And I think that was a huge both eye-opener for me about what I want this podcast to be, but also this huge warmth, the not even validation, but just it felt cool, because it was that's what I wanted it to be, where you think you're coming along and you're sitting in these moments, some of these harder moments or funny moments or wild stories and things like that, and getting to learn and grow and engage with us as we continue to do that. So I thank you all for doing that and for coming and watching. And we're still in the early stages of this, and we don't know what the future holds for this podcast, but we've had so much fun making it. I think and honestly, and that's going to be my biggest encouragement for any of you who are listening and thinking about doing a podcast, is if it's something that brings you joy, and as you're doing it, and if you look back at it and all of the work and everything you're putting into it, it makes you smile and it makes you laugh and it makes you be like, this was worth the effort, even if no one sees it. That is what art is for. Like a creation, anything like that. Even if only one person looks at it, if even only one person watches it, or you just make it for yourself, there is value in that. And maybe one day we'll get people who are actively watching this, and we'll listen back 10 years from now and be like, I'm glad we didn't stop making our podcast after the first semester. But even if we never make it past 100 subscribers, it's the reality of it's something we're passionate about, and it's been such a awesome growing opportunity for you and I in the process of doing all of this.
Absolutely is. And I'm going to say this in a different way. I know we say this every single episode, and we bring it up about our socials and things like that. We're, at least at this point, when this episode is coming out, maybe it changes a ton and we see a ton of people. Not a huge podcast. It's just basically just the two of us working on making these incredible episodes for you guys every single week. So every single comment that you put in there, we try to respond to, we try to we try to interact with anything that you're on the social media. If you're on Facebook or Twitter, or I don't think we're on Twitter or anything like that, but any of our social media posts, when you respond to them, it is going directly to us. We are seeing it, and we are able to. So please, if you're thinking about, hey, I would like to ask them a question, do it. Please send us a question, send us a story, send us a suggestion. Disagree with us if you don't agree with one of those stories. We enjoy it, and it helps us grow and kind of just get more of the community. You are a listener. You're the one who's here. You're still at the episode at this point in it, listening to it. So we want to make better episodes for you, because you're basically right here at the end of our table listening to all of our craziness and our antics, and we're happy to have you here on the show. So
absolutely. And we've got some fun stuff down the road. We have some fun things that we plan. We've got some more confirmed interviews that we have people coming on. We also have some people we're talking to about doing other things. We've got plans for things we might be doing in the summer, and really cool stuff that we've got. Because again, this was very much like a launching point, I think, for us in terms of this show and seeing what we could do and what we're capable of, and what does this require? What does a podcast look like? And things like that. So I'm very excited to see what the future holds. I'm very excited to see what we get to do in the next year as we continue.
Absolutely.
So, but yeah,
thank you for watching. Thank you for being here with us. And I'm going to give you something really easy for this one. We want to say thank you. So if you want to comment below, you're welcome. That would be appreciated. But we just want to say thank you to you. Thank you for listening, for watching, for being here. We appreciate
especially to the end of this episode, because it was a little longer one.
So thank you.
But thank you guys for watching, and we will see you all for our next episode. Bye.